The heroes and villains of colonial Korea, a literary framework, highlighting works such as Tears of Blood by Yi In-jik, On National Reconstruction by Yi Kwang-soo, The Story of Hongil-dong by an unknown author, and A Night of Counting Stars by Yoon Dong-joo. Unlike pre-colonial authors whose characters embody qualities of good and evil, colonial authors themselves assume roles as heroes and villains in the eyes of the contemporary Korean audience. To be able to draw parallels between these literary works and the idea of a hero and a villain, we will be pointing out characters from these works as well as the authors. The question at hand when it comes to heroes is, what constitutes heroism? Hongil-dong is a classic hero. He is superhumanly skilled and has a sense of justice. Won-young is a modern woman. She pursues education and is curious about the world. The colonized Korean people are the innocent victims in a war they did not cause, and Yoon Dong-joo is a revered poet who was killed during the colonial period. And he's revered and seen as a national hero because his writing represents the fervor with which Korean people desired freedom. In A Night of Counting Stars, he writes, "But when winter has passed and spring comes even to my star, to the hill where my name is buried, the grass, like that growing green over graves, will grow lush and proud." In this case, winter and spring are temporal representatives of freedom and liberation and the colonial period, where winter is the harshness of exploitation and spring is the freedom of sovereignty, where Yoon Dong-joo is wishing for winter to pass so that the Korean people, the grass, can grow lush and proud and flourish. Because of his words, even more so than the lyrical content of his poems, Yoon Dong-joo is viewed as this national patriotic hero. The question at hand when thinking about villains is, what makes a villain? Hongil-dong's stepmother figure Choang and the bandits he faced are greedy. Mrs. Inoue is a wicked parent to Won-young, pushing her out of her house. The colonial power, Japan, represents systemic oppression and hegemony, and colonial intellectual Yi In-jik is a national traitor and a villain because he imbues anti-Korean sentiment in his work Tears of Blood. He writes, "According to Korean custom, it is regarded as the finest thing for a young widow not to remarry, and her life is nothing but care. But since there is no such evil custom, moral crime one might call it, in civilized countries, there is no shame anywhere else in the world in a young widow marrying again." The vitriol with which he writes, using words such as evil and moral crime to describe Korea, but civilized to describe Japan, is exemplary of his pro-Japanese sentiments. And it's this work and many others that led colonial people to not be interested in the ideas he put forth in Tears of Blood and as a colonial figure in general. Because of this, he's viewed as a pro-Japanese collaborator and ultimately a national traitor. Yi Kwang-soo fell prey to the same problem, viewed as a national traitor because of his words in his essay on national reconstruction. He writes that reconstruction of a nation means reconstruction of its national character. Although the actual everyday lives of the people are extremely complex, Their day-to-day forms and content are determined by an underlying national character, in itself an extremely simple thing and determined by one or two basic moral factors. He implies, essentially, that the reason why Korea finds itself under subjugation is because the people are lacking of moral high ground and solid national character, implying that the Korean people are wicked and lazy and dishonest people. It is this, amongst others, that makes him a national traitor, alongside Yi In-jik. Ultimately, Yoon Dong-ju is viewed as a hero, while Yi In-jik and Yi Kwang-soo are villains. Why exactly do these colonial intellectuals have different fates?